Hello and welcome back, everyone. I am excited to tell you guys all about Anji here today. When this character was showcased to us about a week ago, there was a lot of talk about the history of the character. So I went ahead and did my research, and it turns out this character used to be an absolute monster. So what I want to do with this walkthrough here is break down what they've given us through the showcase, take a look at the history of the character, and try to figure out what they want to do with Anji in Strive. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, so let's take a look at a number of sequences so we can figure out what our general game plan is going to be. This first sequence is just going to highlight his normals, as they don't really point them out during the showcase. It looks like his slashes and his heavy slashes have all returned, even his multi-hitting for heavy slash. And his normals just overall do look pretty healthy. His air dash movement's pretty standard. He is an all-arounder, so nothing to really write home about there. Alright, so in this next sequence, things start to get a little bit more interesting. It looks like his low dust will cause a hard knockdown, which is going to open up set play with Shitsu, just like the previous games. It is multi-hitting, which is going to open up high-low mix-ups, along with left-right mix-ups even. Can't wait to see what people do with this. And the fun doesn't stop there. Anji's Rekka series Fujin has returned, which means after we block his normals, we have to worry about if he's going to try and go high, mix us up with a low, try to reset his turn, and no telling what he's going to do with the roam and cancel system. So as we take a step back, it becomes clear that Anji may be our first down-to-earth set play character, and I believe he does have the neutral tools to get that knockdown. And if he doesn't have the neutral tools, all he needs is a really good guess with one of his special moves that has guard point, and then you're taking a nap. So with all that considered, let's go ahead and take a closer look at his special moves. First up, we have Shitsu. If you saw this move earlier and it made you scared, you have good instincts, because this move is scary. It is a single hitting projectile, but if it is not intercepted before it reaches you, it will hop up and become a second hit, which means he can have this active after you get knocked down, and you pretty much just have to eat the mix either after the second hit or before the first and second hit. And if Anji reads you're gonna press a button, guess what? He has guard points for that, which means you're taking another nap, which means you have to guess again. So this is essentially his vortex tool. When you see this move, the only thing you need to be thinking is I don't want to get hit by it. Now I did look at previous iterations of the move. It was faster. So in this game, you can kind of throw out a neutral, but I'd recommend you get that hard knockdown first, either with a grab or with our low dust. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have the move that's going to separate the good Anjis from the great, good old Fujin. It looks like in this game there is not going to be a slash version, just a heavy slash version, and if you decide to hold a button, you will be able to get guard point before you actually release the active frames, which is going to start a ridiculous mind game. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the follow-ups though, because it is unsafe on block. First up, we have the punch. He kind of throws his fans down. They say this is a safe option, but I'm thinking it's kind of sus, right? If you faultless defense the Fujin, I feel like those fans aren't gonna hit unless he can change the trajectory, which I don't think he can. Following that, we have the kick. We kind of do a bit of a short hop here. It's not an actual attack, but it does allow us to reset our turn. In the previous games, he was actually able to cross up if he was close enough with this, so it was pretty insane, but it functionally remains the same. It is a way to check your opponent. If they're not thinking about pressing buttons, you can definitely steal a turn with this. And now we move on to our slash follow-up, which is our safest option, a very, very quick low that if we do hit, it should allow enough time for us to get a Shitsu out, but more so we're going to just do this to end our follower string and reset neutral and kind of condition the opponent to open up for the overhead. Now the overhead is not the fastest, but if we catch them pressing or catch them just sleeping at the wheel, we will be able to get them into a juggle state for a huge combo. So if you're really good at conditioning and noticing your opponent's defensive behaviors and taking the right gambles at the right time, you're going to get a ton of value out of Fujin. They're just going to be scared of the ridiculous amount of layers in the mind game, and they're pretty much going to fall back to just keeping you away, which Anji has a move for as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. So now they're just pressing buttons, and here you come in with your 236K. I cannot pronounce the name of this move, but it essentially is a moving guard point. It will force whiff, which will allow you to do whatever you want. You can grab them on whiff or just go for a big combo, which is probably what you'll actually do. But yeah, this move works perfectly in tandem with Fujin, because if once you get in their head, they're probably going to just start pressing, right? So in the hands of a true master, this move is really going to open a lot of doors. And lastly, we have Ko. This move beautifully puts together Anji's kit. Let's talk about the bad before we talk about the great. So first off, yes, it's an anti-air tool, but it does not have invincibility on it. It's nothing like a DP, not a true reversal, can't use it on wake up. It also doesn't hit standing opponents. But what makes this move so great is if you use it as an anti-air tool or as a combo ender, it actually causes a hard knockdown, which means, okay, Anji's one of the few characters in the game that literally says, if you jump on me, you just activated my set play, right? So you can't recklessly press on this character. You can't recklessly jump in on him, okay? And if he holds down the button, he gets to do his moving guard point into the anti-air, which means if he has any kind of read on your air approach, you are immediately in a nightmare scenario. All right, let's go ahead and take a full step back here now. Oh yeah, and let's take a look at this beautiful Overdrive. Unfortunately, we aren't able to see the other one. They said it wasn't ready yet, but this one looks pretty cool regardless. This would appear to be his reversal one, because it causes the say shift. Yeah, that seemed to be the trend. I don't know what his other one would be. I feel like it would be a projectile, but yeah, there it is. So now that we had a good look at everything, let's go ahead and talk about how strong we think this character is going to be, what we think's missing, what we think isn't missing, and things like that. Alright, so here's my take. Anji's coming out the gate day one on fire. This man has set play out of the wazoo. I don't need to talk about how good Shitsu is. You can just look at it and tell, and if you can't tell from looking at it, have fun online day one. But it's not so much Shitsu, right? It's more about his accessibility to Shitsu, okay? How that's gonna tie into Ko, right? If people jump at you and you get Ko off, Shitsu. If you get kick and a low dust, right? They fall down, hard knockdown, Shitsu. If you get your grab off, Shitsu. Even if you get a soft knockdown, Shitsu. Like, you have to deal with this move. It's not like with someone like Amelia, right, where she does tandem and the move sits in place. This bird, we're calling it bad bird now, is gonna come out and you do have to deal with it. Like, it's just something we're gonna have to deal with. It's pretty oppressive in nature unless you have a projectile to meet it or some aerial mobility. Oh wait, you can't jump, so I don't know what you're gonna do. It's gonna be interesting to see how people work their way around Shitsu, because there's really nothing like it, man. And then second, his anti-air tool. Ko looks nuts, bro. Just imagine him just doing it in neutral, okay? With or without the guard point, if he has 50% bar, right, he can just immediately cancel that guess into pressure. And so it really comes down to what kind of neutral tools are they gonna give Anji. In previous games, he did have guard point on some of his normals. They did mention in the showcase that his moves are a little bit slower than everyone else's, which means he could have guard point on some of his moves. Will he have some of his guard point follow-ups from the previous games too? I'm not quite certain, but if he does have guard point on his normals, it definitely solidifies him as a character that will reward good play of the game. If you do your research and you're not just pressing buttons and trying to flip coins when you shouldn't be, he's definitely your guy. The only thing I see looking back at old Anji that I wish was in this game was some of his air options, either from auto guard or there was some stuff he could do with Tiger Knee. It just got pretty nutty in the air for him in the previous games, but it's perfectly fine because in this game he's definitely going to stop you from jumping. So in conclusion, Anji looks fantastic. He's probably going to be one of the characters that I have in my pool, and we'll have to see how strong he is. I'm pretty sure he's going to require some fine tuning because some of his tools are probably people are going to think are busted in the right hands, but I think he looks cool and he's going to play really cool, and I've never played a character that literally had this much guard play, so I'm excited to try him. If you guys are still with me here, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys playing Anji in June, hopefully. Until then, have a great rest of the day, night, and go out and play some Guilty Gear. See y'all in the next one.